Alright, so here we go. Again, we're working on the trapezoidal Riemann sum. And again, like I said, the height that we'll be referencing will be the same as the delta x that we've been working on for the previous left and right and midpoint Riemann sums. Yes? So, on this side, let's draw the trapezoid that we're going to be looking at so we can kind of make sense of what it is we're working with. And I'm going to overdo it on purpose. Okay? So we're going to be drawing trapezoids of particular widths, right? Which is technically the what of that trapezoid? The height. Okay? We're still going to find it the same way we found the widths of the rectangles, as long as they're equal, right? We would say the b minus a over the n, and then that would give us the heights of each trapezoid, since they're all going to be equal. Cool? This endpoint right here, we know it as being which endpoint? So it's the left endpoint, right? And then this one was the what? The right. Do we remember how we calculated each of those? How did we get the right-handed endpoint? We would say a plus what? I delta x, right? And what would we say to get the left one if I was at the right one? So a plus I minus 1 delta x, yes? We had to go 1 delta x back. What would be base 1 and base 2 for this trapezoid? This guy right here, right? And this guy right here? How would I figure out the length of those base 1s and base 2? I would have to plug in this endpoint, right? Into whatever function I'm working with and get that. So that would actually be f of a plus I minus 1 delta x, right? And this guy over here, which would be base 2, would be f of a plus I delta x. Make sense? Yeah? So if I wanted to find the area of this trapezoid, I would need this formula right here, which is base 1, right? Plus this right here, which is base 2, times delta x, and then all of that divided by 2. Okay. So if I have this and this within my formula here under base 1 and base 2, and we're multiplying it by delta x, what does that mean I'm doing with that delta x? Distributing it to each one, right? And if I do all of this times delta x, which Riemann sum was that? The left Riemann sum. And if I do all of this times delta x, which Riemann sum was that? The right. And then all I have to do is divide it by what? By 2. So the trapezoidal Riemann sum, in simple terms, is just the what? The left Riemann sum plus the right Riemann sum divided by 2. Pretty cool? So the midpoint one is not the average of the left and the right. It's the trapezoidal one that's the average of the left and the right. Got it? Pretty easy? Alright, so let's jump in here and let's work with this example. Okay, we're working with this particular curve, and what do we say the area should be between 1 and 7? 40 again, right? Okay, we're doing the trapezoidal Riemann sum, and we're using 3 trapezoids of equal height, which we know is the same thing as just delta x. So first thing you do is figure out your delta x. What's that going to be? 7 minus 1 over 3, we get 2. Good? Let's come over here and let's draw our trapezoid. So it starts at 1, we have a height of 2, so we go to 3, height of 2, we go to 5, height of 2, we go to 7. At each endpoint, you need to go all the way to the curve, because those are going to be my bases. So I'm going to go from here all the way up until I touch my curve. From here all the way up until I touch my curve. And now I'm going to make a trapezoid, Natalie. Okay? So we make a trapezoid by connecting those two endpoints. I said Natalie. a Natalia, and there's a Natalie. Oh. Pretty good? I'm not just making up names. There's my second one, right? And then I need my third one, which will be here. So it looks like an under approximation. But notice how many trapezoids I'm making. 3, and I'm getting a pretty good approximation in comparison to the other 2. Right? So instead of having to make 12, I can make less and still get a pretty good estimate, right? That's the good thing about the trapezoidal Riemann. Cool? Let's come up with the formula here. So we said the general formula was 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. Let's replace those with what they should be according to the problem. So the half is going to stay there. The h is going to be what? Delta x. This base 1 and base 2 are going to be some different stuff. What's base 1 going to be? F of a plus I minus 1 delta x. That's base 1. Plus, what's base 2 going to be? F of a plus I delta x. Got it? So if I wanted to find the area of any of these 3 trapezoids, right? Let's say I wanted the area of the ith trapezoid. I don't feel like writing the word. What would it be for this particular problem? 1/2 times, what's delta x? 2 times f of, what's a? 1 plus I minus 1 times what? Plus f of 1 plus I times 2. You see how it's the left and the right, and then just divided by 2? Remember, it was this times delta x, this times delta x, which is right here. Since they both had it in common, they took it out, right? And then divided by 2. Remember, we would do this and then delta x, this and then delta x. The left plus the right. Easy? Can we write the summation formula in case I do have a problem like this and I want to get the answer quite quickly? So let's find the summation formula. I wanted to find all 3 areas and add them all up for me really quickly. So what would we write? The summation from I equals 1 to 3 of all that up there, right? 1/2 times 2 times f of 1 plus I minus 1 times 2 plus f of 1 plus, can I put 2i? And that should give me the answer. Yes? Now what if we don't have a calculator? Let's figure out each one, right? Okay. So what is each area going to have in common? What are they all going to have the same? 1/2 times 2, right? So could I write that on the outside and then write out what I'm getting inside within another parenthesis? Would be okay with that? So I know that each one of them is going to have 1/2 times 2. And I know some of you are getting annoyed with me not multiplying them and just writing it as 1. But I'm doing it on purpose. Okay? They're not always going to cancel each other out. I want you to see that it's that 1/2 times that delta x. Alright, so when I plug in the 1 for the first trapezoid, what would I get? F of 1 plus, put it over here also, f of 3. Now that's 1 base 1 plus base 2, right? So it would be base 1 plus base 2 times the height times the half, right? That's one area. Now I need to do the next trapezoid. So that would be plus, what's the next one going to be? Plug in 2. 2 minus 1? times 2 plus 1, f of 3 plus f of 5. And you put the 2 over here. That's the second trapezoid. You with me, Ale? Plus, now we need the third trapezoid. We need the third base 1 plus base 2. So f of 5 plus f of 7. Can you see it from the picture where we're getting those numbers from? So if we come over here to our picture, okay, to find the area of this first trapezoid, I would say f of 1, which gives me this space, plus f of 3, which gives me this base, right? Times the height, 2, divided by 2. Now the next one would be f of 3 plus f of 5 times the height divided by 2. Understand? Yes? So everything in those brackets is being what? Added, right? So technically, could these parentheses go away?
Yeah.
And what would I end up with? 1/2 times 2 times what? F of 1 plus 2 f of 3, right? Because there's 2 of them. Plus 2 f of 5 plus f of 7. How come the first one and the last one weren't multiplied by 2?
There's only one of each.
There's only one of each, right? Neither of those two bases are being shared amongst two trapezoids, right? So if we come over here, this one's not being shared with anything, but this guy right here is being used for this trapezoid and also for that one. So that's why we have 2 of them, right? Same thing for this one. This one is only used once. So that's the little shortcut formula for later on when we start working on table problems. Okay, but you can only use that shortcut when they have equal what? Equal heights, right? Or equal delta x's, yes? If they don't, you can't use that. Okay? You would have to do each one on its own. So you would have to do like this times its specific height, plus this times its specific height, plus this times its specific height. And then all of that times what? Half. Or divide all that number by 2. Understand? Okay, you will have one problem like that on your assignment where you're going to have to do it by parts. Okay, so the only difference will be that this 2 won't be out here, you only have the half, and each one of these will have a specific number next to them. So you won't be able to do this formula that we did. That won't happen. Cool? Alright, so type it in your calculator. Okay, I would recommend typing this guy right here, and tell me what it is that you come up with. Let's see how close to 40 we get on this bad boy.
Martin.
Don't forget tonight's the basketball game, playing against Wagner at the LEA. Should be a good game.
Are you gonna go?
Are we just playing one game here and then one game over there, or it's not a series, it's just one game, win or lose?
Oh, if they lose, they lose anyway, right?
They lose, they're done.
Yeah.
Gotta go, guys, we gotta go, we gotta support. When they shoot those free throws, we freak them out and they miss. Scream, okay? Paint your faces, okay? Like Mr. Arredondo says.
I'll do it.
Paint your face. What do we get, guys? Remember that you have to store the equation that we're working with, right? At negative 1/3. Type it in.
Yes, I will.
Very good. So put the 1/2 times 2, and then you'd use the bars and go from there. Let me get you one then. Huh? 38.667. Anybody second the motion? It is now in law.
I did get that.
So 38.667 units what? You could put it like this also. You should still get the same answer. Right? Or you could put it like that, you decide which one. Any of these three are equivalent. Good?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Good. What's the whole equation? Let's write it up. Be here in this space, okay?
What the heck, why do you have to use
So the trapezoidal Riemann sum,
What is the correct way to say it?
trapezoidal, it's not trapezoidal, it doesn't matter.
Wait, so then on the foible we wrote trapezoidal, right?
We did, it's okay, they're both correct. So, if I want for n trapezoids, it'll be the summation, right? From I equals 1 to n. And it'll be 1/2 times delta x times, what's gonna give me my base 1? F of a plus I minus 1 delta x plus, what's gonna give me my base 2? F of a plus I delta x. And that'll be the particular formula. Right, and we know that this is really just what? This is really my left sum plus my right sum